our lovely 5D people. And in this case, your 5D mystic here. So we have emotional awareness thanks to having belief in ourselves just the way we are, and our minds are free. This is that inner growth mindset. You are self-aware of the emotions that come up. You also take accountability and you know how to regulate yourself. So you don't waste this precious gift of time and life. And when you do get, again, mystic here, raised with spirituality, and you feel it right here that there's more to life than just this plane, but you don't deviate from being pure consciousness, which is unconditional love. So yeah, you stay what is, in my case, a divine feminine. Divine masculines don't have the same luck. I'm going to say that. That's because they first need to get home to themselves if they want to. And I will have noticed to those who think they're divine feminines because of Claire, not noticed that they're still on Elsa's journey. So they haven't figured out they have a 3-year-old who needs to get back to that compass. So I'm attachment trauma informed, by the way, besides being in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. And getting here was not something that is an Elsa type journey. So, you know, when people talk about you needing to go through pain in order to enlighten, it's more of we're choice points for each other, and that doesn't mean pain for those of us who are divine feminines, that is, because as I've been explaining, when we get discarded, we're not being discarded. Thanks, Mom. We know how to use our mind to say, we're different. I'm going to process all of those basic emotions that I have because I'm a human like anybody else, and I'm going to create what is emotional lifting without even knowing it. I didn't need a therapist, and it's not traumatic to deal with emotions for me, your host right now. So here's what happens when you do know healthy self-worth. Thank you, Terry Real. And you will have known it since you were a little kid because you were the best, what is it called? Let's go to Patrick Tian. You were the best lawyer for yourself. Yes, thank you. You can ask any one of my family members how amazing it is to have a person who will not shut up and will continue to argue. It's not arguing. It's, cold, selfish, protective, which it's not either. So my herd, my lovely herd, we always bicker because I'm a 3-year-old. They're all, no, my mom's not a 3-year-old, but you know what I'm saying. Or some of you might. Okay, so when you are all, your whole 3-year-old hearts, you will have admitted you have an ego self at the very least. And when you're a 5D person, you're having fun building snowmen because your beginner's mind is always here, which is why we do not waste this precious gift that is life. Okay, so we're going to get into this right now because a lot of people, they say they're empowered. I notice them actually doing the shame, blame, fault, revenge game, and they're on Elsa's journey, so they think they're doing something that's actually special. I'm going to explain the human way, one, enlightenment, and why we don't have laundry, and that's why enlightenment as a not only vibration, but as a person you can be here. It's called flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain. Thank you, Daniel Siegel. It's called consciousness. So you being able to be online from your higher social engagement system, it's called your mammalian heritage. It's not inaccessible at all, no. But when people do, I don't want to do personal development, I want life now, and they have gone to therapy, okay, wow, really? You didn't learn about your body, did you? If you had, you would know everything about what just did the whining. The whining is your teenager and or 3-year-old, and you don't seem to be the grown-up handling what is, wow, you know what, today was an interesting day. I don't need to complain about personal development. That's part of how I can continue to become. And that's why it's a choice. It's a choice to be a human love narrative. Some of us do it easily, which is why don't waste my time with your human suffering stuff. So today I'm attachment trauma informed. I wasn't a mystic as a teenager. You can better bet. I, in fact, I didn't waste any of my time. See, as a teenager, you have this thing called black and white thinking. And then I got to become busy and I grew up. And then I got to become a mystic. And that did not confuse me because secure attachment to human beings who are actually self-empowered don't do the I'm flappable. No, we're unflappable. You don't destabilize my centeredness because you do a 360 on me. No, I will actually say, hey, you want to talk? Because I think we should talk. I actually know, not I think. I'm pretty sure. You know, what's funny is when you tell people what's going to happen, and then they say, no, it's happened to me more than once. This is the part about being an intuitive. Yes, we won't talk about this, will we? No, we will. Yes, never happened. And that's not just with one person. So I learned how to just be used to seeing Cusco's out there use the word smart and thanks mom to be polite. So a 5D person knows how to be polite. And then we also learn how to effectively use our time. And we don't call our oversoul energy vampires or dark auras. That's very not nice. We don't objectify people who need a good therapist. We will not use our time with dysfunction. Here. So it's not about tolerance. Actually, we're reminded that we're one big ball of energy. Thank you. Let me get to that one. So when you have healthy self-worth, you don't use your time trying to be liked or not liked. You're just being yourself. And it doesn't get any harder. In fact, it gets easier. Thank you, Jesus and God. Although now I call God Akash because, you know, the essence of life and love. And because the 3D, 4D are using all these words differently. So spirituality, I move into enlightenment the human way, and I bring you those human elements so that anyone who wants to understand and that is experiencing and perceiving the 5D mystic plane can come on over here. If you're a functional adult, please join us because you are Pacha. This means you love humanity. You love being a human. You love using this thing called brain, and you don't complain about the emotions that come up. Any person who actually wants to make a big deal about the emotion, I'm like, okay, Patrick Tihan, Terry Real, Daniel Siegel, Bezo Van. I have a name. I have a number of names. I see a lot of people out in pubs, though, you know what? And then I see them on movies doing a lot of drama. And then I see them continuing to think about enlightenment the painful way, and it's like, no. Even Sadhguru, he's shared. You don't need to go through suffering. In fact, he doesn't know how to explain it. It's called you move into your prefrontal cortex versus ruminate. We have Tara Brock, who's full of free videos on YouTube on how to get out of your limbic system. You know what people do? No, that's not possible. So again, I mean, is it possible or not for you to access all of you, the lovely 4D mystics who think they're anointed while they're doing human suffering and they're on Elsa's infinite journey and never forget, oh, look, I have a 3-year-old that is looking for the adult in the house, but I ain't turning home to myself because I'm not tending to my emotional accountability, awareness, or any of it. I'm just using my time to be with all of the other Cuscos out there on YouTube. So everything happens for a reason, yes. Every action has a reaction, yes, it does. One of frustration, irritation, but we also learn how not to waste our time. Always remember that what's meant to be will always find a way to come. So here's the beauty of being a always 0-1-year-old with a 3-year-old. Thank you, Mom. And that you know exactly where you're headed because you don't have questions. So what it is to be a empowered human being, it means I know I have 24 hours. God gave me 24 hours. You know, when I learned about this thing, as a teenager, we're all, again, black and white. I was told it's a very, very bad thing to not want to live. I'm an attachment trauma informed, and I did recently take a course on those who are suicidal, which makes me very sad. So what I learned from my heart as a human being and a mystic and an enlightenment soul age group and somebody who has moved beyond spirituality, so science and spirituality, they stand together right here because at the end of the day, one science explains what spirituality doesn't, and spirituality uses stories, and the stories don't fulfill all of the things. No, they don't know how to balance things out. When somebody says to you, you know, Maria, some people, they don't want to live. And when people tell you something in a way that is sharing what they understand, and you're an actual divine feminine, because see, an actual divine feminine is always going to be a nurturer, and you're always going to therefore have the right mode on, which means you're talking to another person's heart. You're not using your left to chit chatter. You're being curious, open, accepting, and loving of another human being. And so whenever I get the heart messages, I always am able to like, wow, that's amazing. I learned that some people can't want to live. That makes me very sad. And I learned how to not look at it the way the institution taught it to me, which was in a black and white way. And that's why spirituality prevails and 5D mystics and the Enlightenment Soul Age group and not the ancient in digital form institutions. Because if you don't understand how attachment or trauma works and you don't understand that we need to heal that to support people to be their whole 3-year-old hearts. Okay, so one, we don't waste our time though, because the minute you got an avoidant discard and you got the shame cycle people on a roll, the human suffering group, you learn how to disengage from them again and again, because what they present to you when you say, you know, you could do, did it, oh no, how dare you? When people project their insecurities upon you, that's when you know, ciao. So we use our time to try and bring the inner child of anyone who wants to be expanding consciousness, the 5D collective. We stand together. We're all imperfect and flawed, so please be compassionate.